Okay, we're ready.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. We'll call the Public Safety Committee meeting to order at about 2:10 in the afternoon. My apologies for being late. We will start out with a roll call and posting of the agenda, and I don't have a flag, so we will waive the flag salute portion of the meeting for this afternoon. Madam Clerk, the roll call and the posting, please.
If I could just ask everyone to mute themselves if they're not going to be taking roll. And Member Lopez?
Here.
Member Ramirez?
Yes, I'm here.
And Chair McDonald?
I'm here.
Chair, we have a quorum, and the agenda for this meeting was posted in the City Hall kiosk on Wednesday, May 6th.
Thank you. With that, we'll go to subject B, public comments and items not on the agenda. Madam Clerk, my understanding is that Mr. Henry Sapien wishes to offer comments. Is that correct?
That's correct. I'll get him ready now.
Okay, thank you very much.
Hi, Henry.
Sorry, mailbox is full. To send an SMS notification, press 5.
Okay, so I guess he's not picking up right now.
Well, it sounded, as much as it rang, it sounded like he's probably on the phone. So maybe we can try him back in a little bit.
Okay.
So we will try to come back to him in a little bit. We'll move now to item D, C1, approval of the minutes. Have the members had a chance to look at the minutes?
Yes, they're good on my end.
Okay.
I wasn't there, but I'll be happy to vote for it if somebody would move it. 'Cause I think
Okay.
Correct?
Yes. Vina, did you move it?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Madam Clerk, if we could have a vote, please.
Member Lopez?
Yes.
Member Ramirez?
Yes.
Chair McDonald?
Yes.
The motion carries 3-0.
And with that, we move to item D, agreement for animal safety services with Ventura County Animal Services. And I don't know if Chief Whitney is going to do this or someone else is going to do it.
Council member, good afternoon, council members and our friends from Ventura County. If you don't mind, we have about a 90-second video. We were planning on doing it in public comments. It is it's regarding the Helen Putnam Award for Excellence. It's run out of the California League of Cities. There's about 11 different categories. Our city manager encouraged us to apply. So we don't have enough good information to share nowadays, and we felt that this would be something positive to share with the Public Safety Committee. The applications were due last Friday, and the police department applied for one of the categories in regards to public safety. We had to submit a video, and this is a 90-second video that we wanted to share with you.
Absolutely. Then once you're done with that, you can go into the presentation. So let's roll with it.
Thank you.
And Chief, I have to tell you, the music was wonderful, but all I saw was the city clerk's logo and heard music. I didn't see anything else.
Oh my gosh, it just broke my heart.
No, that's just on your screen, but good news is,
I don't think anybody
Okay.
saw it.
you know
Carmen,
what?
were you able?
It's only
Mayor Pro
90
Tem?
seconds. It's only 90 seconds. I'll pay for the commercial fees to play it one more time.
I'm sorry.
Please be patient. Let's do it one more time.
Thank you.
Especially since the chair likes the music.
Oh, the music was wonderful. Okay, now I'm seeing something fantastic. Very good. Thank you very much, Chief. Do the other committee members have any comments?
Lovely.
Yeah, this was great. Thank you so much.
Excellent. Okay, with that, we'll move to item D1, Public Safety Committee Agreement for Animal Safety Services with Ventura County Animal Services. Chief?
Unfortunately, I don't have really cool music for my presentation. I apologize. I'm Commander
I'm
Denise
sorry,
Shadinger
Commander.
from the Police Department, and I'm joined today by, I believe, Jackie Rose. I saw her in the meeting. Is Jackie here?
I am here. I apologize. I'm not on video. I'm having trouble with my video camera, but I am here telephonically, as well as Sol Rarick, who is our fiscal business manager, and Donna Gillespie.
And we are here to discuss the Animal Safety Services Agreement for fiscal year 2021. Our presentation objectives are to provide you with an overview of the fiscal year 2021 agreement with Ventura County Animal Services for our animal safety contract, and to receive a recommendation from the council to move, from the committee to move forward to the city council to approve and authorize the mayor to execute the agreement. The shelter services that are covered in this agreement relate to all animals that originate from the city of Oxnard, whether they are confiscated by our animal safety unit for being strays on the street, they are turned in by their owners to the shelter, they are picked up as strays, or dead animals that are picked up for disposal. Some of the things that are offered by the shelter for these animals are food and care, boarding, veterinary services when available, when needed, and euthanasia either requested by the owner or if necessary due to injuries to the animal. This also includes posting the animals that are picked up as strays to the website to assist owners in reclaiming their animals. Last fiscal year, we contracted with the county to take over all animal licensing services for the city. The city of Oxnard requires both cats and dogs to be licensed by the city, and Ventura County Animal Services has the best program and ability to handle those services. It's not something that we were doing very well and not providing a great service to our community. Contracting with the county allowed them to allow community members to renew their animal licenses online, and also to opt in for multi-year animal licenses. They charge us a $6 fee for each license that's processed, and the remainder of the fee is credited towards the amount the city owes each quarter. Historically, the cost of the agreement has gone up each year, and this is due to the cost of personnel, the cost of benefits to personnel, increasing wage cost, and also to the cost of equipment and care for the animals, and the equipment and care that's needed by the shelter to provide the services that we agree to in our agreement. Previously, the percentage that we paid was attributed to the animal intake for each calendar year previous to the agreement, which means when we went into the agreement for fiscal year 1920, it was a percentage of the animal intake for 2019. Realizing that that wasn't the best way of breaking out the costs for the 8 contract cities in the county, this year there's a new billing methodology, and it now is a 3-year weighted percentage of animal intakes, which means 3 calendar years of animal intakes, there's a weighted average, and the percentage is broken out between the 8 contract cities and the county. Each contract city still pays a percentage of the overall county fiscal year budget for animal safety. And as shown in this spreadsheet, you can see the cost and the animal intake and the percentage of animal intake for the last 3 years for all 8 contract cities and the county. And in the bottom right-hand corner is the total overall budget for the county animal safety and how that's broken down. The cost to the city is a little over $2.2 million. That does not include some of the costs that we will see attributed to emergency animal services, where their animal safety officers come and provide services to the city of Oxnard. As you may or may not be aware, we have had no animal safety officers working in the field for almost all of last fiscal year. I think when I looked at it, we had one full-time employee for about 2.5 months for this fiscal year. We have just recently hired a full-time animal safety officer that will go into training on the 18th of May, and that will bring up our field staffing. Some of the other costs attributed to the agreement are the license processing fees and the access server cost to Chameleon, which is a system that records animal licensing and some of the other items related to specific animals and their owners that animal safety officers may need to follow up with in the field, whether or not the animal's been involved in a bite situation, whether or not they've been quarantined, and some of the other things that we need to keep track of per state mandate. As you can see, the total cost of the agreement before any revenue is received is a little over $2.3 million. We project about almost $625,000 in licensing revenue. For this agreement, we are opting into an auto citation program, which means if somebody doesn't pay their animal license fee or they're delinquent in paying their animal license fee or renewing it, a citation is automatically sent out after a period of time, letting them know they need to pay their animal licensing fee or additional fines will be attached. The total net cost of the agreement is $1.7 million. And I'm now prepared to take any questions, and there are members of the Ventura County Animal Safety here that can answer questions as well.
Thank you, Commander. What I'd like to do is start out with Mayor Pro Tem, because if memory serves me correct, she is our representative on the VCAS board. Is that correct?
That's correct, and I'm serving as chair now, and pretty familiar with the operations as much as any commissioner can be. So thank you for the opportunity. I imagine we don't have members of the public speak, Chair McDonald, at this point.
I don't believe so. I wasn't told of any speaker cards. Madam Clerk, do we have any speakers?
No, not for this.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I have a number of things to say, because I think it's important for any member of the public to know what the animal services center does and why we need it. And yes, it's costly, and I know some people might think this is too much money, but really this is part of being a civilized city and area, that you take care of the animals in the proper way. But I do want to just say the animal shelter now is a no-kill and has been for quite a few years. And I participated in the interview for Miss Rose, who became our director about a year now. Isn't that correct, Jackie?
That is correct. It was May 1st of last year. Yes.
And since that time, so it's been really important to see what the needs are of the animal shelter, because it is kind of a decrepit facility and needs to be updated. But now with the economic downturn and the cost we're experiencing, it may be some time. But I did want to just stress this about no kill. And you, Commander, you mentioned one of the things that the animal shelter does is euthanasia at the request of the owner. And I'd like to ask Director Rose to talk about that, because I don't think it's as straightforward as it sounds.
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm happy to address that issue. We do offer owner-requested euthanasia at our facility. It's a limited service that we provide, meaning that it's not something that everyone in the community actually opts to take advantage of with us. It's really primarily intended to be there for those pet owners who don't have other resources for that service. Unfortunately, the cost to euthanize one's individual owned pet can be sometimes outside of the reach of folks who have limited means. And so we offer that as a limited cost, if you will. Folks are able to call us, make an appointment. We will provide that service for them. For some people, they're calling in the moment of an emergency, and if we're available, we will help. For others, we're trying to do that by an appointment basis. It may be an animal who is, old and failing and has been failing for a period of time, and we'll schedule that appointment. Our veterinary team will take care of that service for them.
And if the animal is healthy, is that something that's permitted, allowed?
No, absolutely. Thank you. No, I appreciate the follow-up clarification question. No, absolutely not. The process for an owner-requested euthanasia is one that must be approved, and under the, if you will, a veterinarian has to be there for that service to be performed, but it has to be based on the veterinarian's recommendation. If someone was to bring their animal to us and what we call, and I pardon the language, but we call it a convenient euthanasia, we would not abide by that. If it's simply because someone no longer wants to have that animal, we are happy to have them surrender that animal to us, and then we will go ahead and make other arrangements to rehome that animal or transfer or do whatever we think is appropriate. But we are only euthanizing those animals who present with medical needs that are so severe that really is the humane option for that animal.
And then I have a lot of things, two things I want to say real quickly, but if you could just give a brief review of what the circumstances are at the shelter now with the pandemic.
Sure, my pleasure. And again, thank you for asking that. As everyone has been experiencing the last 6 to 8 weeks, we have had to retool and rescale some of our services in order to abide by the stay-at-home order.
And have you restarted the adoption process?
We have. One of the, a couple things that happened. We did shut down, and it is still currently closed on a temporary basis, is our satellite facility in Simi Valley. That facility is closed at this time, and we've co-located everyone together at the Camarillo shelter. In addition to that, we have gone to an adoption by appointment basis. We had started that back in the end of March, and we're running that for about a week and a half, and then we completely discontinued that based on Dr. Levin's orders at that time, really encouraging people to stay at home. However, I'm happy to report that we re-implemented that modified system as of May 4th, and we are back to doing adoptions by appointment. Some things that we did not discontinue, which I think are really important to know, we continue to take stray animals in. That service has not changed. We continue to provide our field services, emergency services, and we've continued, to obviously care for all of the animals who are in our care at our shelter. We did, if you will, furlough some of what we call our non-essential staff. Our front counter is not open to the public, and as of today, we are still locked, if you will. People can't just come to the facility for casual visits. If they're interested in seeing an animal, they look online and they make the appointment. The other piece that we have continued and did not stop at all is, of course, return to owners. So if someone's stray animal came in, we were doing everything we could to help find that owner and return it to its lost family. And whoever Puppy McDonald is absolutely cute. So I just...
Thank you. And for just finally, and thank you, Brian, for showing us your cutie pie there. I wanted to say that many of us who've been at home have watched these commercials from national animal welfare organizations, but I always try to recommend that people give locally, because if you make a donation to a national organization, there's very little chance it will benefit our local animals and animal needs. And our shelter does a lot for members of the public who need help retaining their animal or getting veterinary services through its foundation. And I'm hoping we can do more, get more information out to the public. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you.
I bring my little friend up here. I call her my home security advisor. She's a rescue, so that's why I brought in. All of our animals, with the exception of one, have been rescues. So, I love the concept of the service. I realize it adds expense to the contract, and I'll be honest, I'd like to see the contract be a little less expensive, but it is what it is. Because I do agree with the concept of no kill whenever possible. So thank you for the report. Member Lopez, do you have any comments?
I just had a question about, thank you for that presentation, and about since we haven't had an animal safety officer for most of this year, so we've incurred that the field service rate. So just wondering if there's an estimate of how much that has accounted for this year.
We haven't had a full-time animal safety officer working. We have had part-time assistance from code enforcement officers who were previous animal safety officers for the city. And we have also utilized the assistance of Ventura County Animal Safety for their officers to come out on an emergency basis if there was an emergency involving an animal. With note to the animal intake, just to give you some numbers to give you an idea of where the balance is, traditionally over the last probably 3 to 4 years, we've seen anywhere between 700 to almost 900 animals that are intake attributed to our animal safety officers. The majority of the intake is attributed to either owner surrender, where the owner takes their animal to the shelter, or where somebody picks up a stray animal, finds a stray animal, finds a litter of kittens, finds an animal of some sort and takes it to the shelter themselves. That's usually the much higher number that we see when the numbers are broken down. That's a little bit hard to control because if the animal comes from the city of Oxnard, it gets attributed to the city of Oxnard.
Okay, great, thank you. Well, yeah, and thank you for the service and this update on what this means to the city and the entire county. Thank you.
Thank you, Commander. Thank you to all that contributed. The recommendation is that the committee recommend the City Council approve and authorize the mayor to execute a 5-year agreement, A8151, with Ventura County Animal Services, also known as VCAS, for animal safety services in the amount of $2,324,778 for fiscal year 2021. So, Mr. Nguyen, did you have any comments, or anyone else?
No, sir.
I'll Move the recommended action?
Second, the
Okay, Madam Clerk, we have a motion and a second, and we can have a roll call vote, please.
Member Lopez,
Yes.
Member Ramirez,
yes.
Chair McDonald.
Yes.
The motion to approve carries 3-0.
Can I just add something, Chair?
Sure.
We're coming into the kitten season, which means the shelter is usually sometimes overwhelmed by people bringing in kittens. It's really important that people be responsible owners if you do have cats, dogs, to get them fixed so that they don't reproduce and then have very sad things. But it is kitten season coming, and there'll be opportunities to adopt those adorable kittens. I've done it before, and I'm trying to talk my husband into more. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That item will move forward. Then that moves us to items for future agendas. Are there any suggestions for future agenda items?
Nope.
None on my,
Okay, hearing none, that will complete our business for today. Thank you very much. This meeting will be adjourned.
You all.
Be safe, all.
thank you.
Thank you, everyone.